And that's why I believed in Santa until I was 20 years old.
Fair enough.
Hello and welcome to the Phil Shy podcast. My name's Peter Bell and with me the Nice Man Comedy, Paddy Linton.
Hello.
Yes, and this is, of course, the last episode before Christmas, so we have a nice wee Baileys with us.
We're on the Baileys.
Yes. In fact, we're not sponsored by Baileys, so we need to say nondescript Irish cream liqueur. That's what we're drinking.
Your dad's on the liqueurs, watch it.
To be fair, we will be people's dads later on in comedy night. Because everyone else is fucking young, Patrick.
Oh, right. I thought you meant we were going to have intercourse.
We're on the Baileys after all. But yeah, no, so what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to do a review of the year. We'll go through some of the biggest news stories. We'll give out some awards because, you know, players are desperate to get a Phil Shy podcast award. You know, people respect our opinions. And then we'll just talk about the games that happened at the weekend there. We're also going to, we've asked some of the podcast guests who they would nominate for certain awards, so we'll get their input as well. So it's going to be a fun show, especially since we're on the bevies. So prepare yourselves. So what we'll start with, the year started with quite predictably the January transfer window. Chelsea, not that. So I guess what's happening?
It started with January again every year.
I'm sick of it, Patrick. I'm fucking sick of it.
This year we're starting with March.
To be fair, City would probably prefer that. That's when they tend to kick into gear. We know that obviously January transfer window, and predictably Chelsea bought 8 players and spent £323 million.
Yeah.
And what did they get for that?
Fuck all.
They got, 10th in the league, I think they currently are?
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, this is something that I discovered at the weekend. If Everton hadn't got their 10-point deduction, they would be above Chelsea.
That is fucking mental.
Yeah, so there you go. That's how well Chelsea's spending has gone. Genuinely, it is like that bit in Pretty Women where the guy gives the prostitute a credit card and says, go buy clothes.
Why are you saying the prostitute?
Because she was a prostitute.
I know, but just say Julia Roberts.
Because she didn't play Julia Roberts in the film.
I know, but like, just say Julia. Everybody knows Julia Roberts in Pretty Women. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Well, you say that.
But you don't have to say.
I've just
say the prostitute. You're demeaning her.
No, hey, it's a real job. It's a noble profession. Okay.
What's your favourite part of that film?
I've never seen it. I had to Google that Richard Gere was in it. But yeah, it is like that. They've just gone scatterguns, bought a bunch of players that nobody had ever heard of, apart from Mudryk, who they bought because he'd been making the eyes at Arsenal for a while. Yeah. And they were like, oh, fuck it, we'll just buy him then.
100 million.
And that worked out well for Arsenal because they got Trossard instead for a quarter of the price, who's been 3 times the player. So thanks, Chelsea. Well done. Yeah, it's backfired. And they went and did the same thing in the summer. Usually in January, you only bring in 1 or 2 players to try and consolidate your position or fill any gaps you've got in the team through injuries or whatever. But 8 players, that's almost a new outfield team.
Yep.
In the middle of a season. No wonder it didn't fucking work, man.
And all of them are shite. It's not like one of them are decent, like all of them are shite.
Aye. But I mean, I think their plan is invest in these young players and then they'll develop and they'll be worth a lot more in the future. Also
give them all like 7.5-year deals.
Yeah, so you don't need to pay it all up right now. But that's not going to be allowed anymore.
And if any of them work out, like if somebody wants to buy them, like, oh no, he's still got 12 years in his contract. You're going to have to pay a lot of money to release him for that.
Oh, I just had a horrible thought in my head, but we're moving on. What else have we got? Oh yeah, so Pep Guardiola finally got his Champions League.
Yep.
No, his 3rd Champions League, but everyone forgets about the other 2. It's a real underdog story, you know, plucky little Man City.
Real Roy of the Rovers.
Winning a treble. I was actually thinking about this the other day, and it didn't feel as special as some of the other trebles that have happened.
Yep.
Obviously United were a very successful team at the 99 treble winning season. Although they weren't in full Fergie swing by then, they had success before it. But City have won 4 out of the last 5 Premier League titles. They win like 2 trophies a year at least usually. So there was just an inevitability about this.
Plus, it was just the way that Man United won the final as well.
Like,
fucking
last minute. Yeah. with Solskjaer as well being the super sub, I've probably butchered that pronunciation.
I was going to say.
So is it Solskjaer? Is that how you pronounce
Do I look fucking Norwegian?
I don't know. I don't know what Norwegians look like.
Kinda, maybe.
I get asked if I'm Dutch a lot of the time, so what the fuck do I know?
You do look kind of Dutch, to be honest.
Thanks. Although, during the Fringe, a guy came up to me outside, what was it, Smiddy, the Irish bar, what's it called?
Oh, the
Smiddy Murphy.
Biddy Mulligans.
Biddy, aye, that one. And he was like, "Are you from Donegal?" I said, "No." He said, "Just we've got an awful lot of red-haired people in Donegal." We've got a few here. He was like, "Are you sure you're not from?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure, mate."
No, I'm Dutch. I used to work with a Dutch guy and his name was Klaas.
Oh yeah, well, that is class.
And thingy, when he introduced himself, he was like, "All right, I'm Klaas," and I went, "I'm no bad. having an all right day."
Having an all right day. Oh yeah, but so yeah, well done, City. The summer was dominated by the Saudi Pro League, coming in and buying every remotely talented player over 30 in Europe.
They bought like the best gay rights activist in football as well. That was amazing.
Yeah, totally. That's not bit your arse, has it, Emerson? Oh, Gareth Southgate keeps picking him, so who the fuck knows? Yeah, like you were saying earlier, the only surprising one was like Ruben Neves, because he's still like in the prime of his career.
Aye,
and he could have got a big Premier League move.
I think Kante as well. I think Kante's got a couple of years left. He's still in the twilight of his career, but like, I think he's got a couple of years left in him, and it was a wee bit disappointing to see him. But I think he's Muslim. Is he Muslim? I don't know.
I think he might be. I
like, because I can understand why Muslim players would want to play in a Muslim country.
I mean, the big shock was, and the sort of marquee signings for them were obviously Ronaldo.
Yeah,
despite the fact that Ronaldo's clearly in the twilight of his career, and Karim Benzema, because at the time he was a Ballon d'Or holder.
Yeah,
and so they could claim that we've signed the best player in the world.
Yeah, and it's fact.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like people were making out, oh, how is this going to impact Europe? This is going to have a huge effect on football in general. But it hasn't really. No. You know, this is arguably the best Premier League season we've seen in a while. There's competition for the title for the first time in ages. Relegation looked like it was going to be certain at the start, but isn't really anymore. And you've got teams like West Ham signing Champions League players. Nottingham Forest have brought in insane players, you know, ones that were at Real Madrid and Barcelona and all that kind of stuff, PSG, and they're at the lower end of that table. So really the Premier League's still just completely controlling it. So,
well, apart from Man U.
Apart from Man U. You can't have everything.
Bottom of the group in the Champions League.
With the lowest points tally ever from a Premier League team in Champions League
fantastic.
History.
I love it. So good.
I mean, we say that, like the other news I was going to say was that Manchester United got bought over. Oh no, wait, they didn't. But like we say, man, like you're not a Newcastle fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. We should be happy that United are in pain. We should be finding this funny, and we did at first, but now it's just sad, isn't it?
It is sad. It's just like, it's like watching somebody getting bullied repeatedly. You're like, they've had enough now.
Should someone no step in? You're
like the roof is leaking.
I've been to some dodgy fucking stadiums like the one in Hartlepool, and the roof worked. No.
Yep.
I think that's the bare minimum for a building. Does the roof work? Imagine a building just going, that works.
Throw some water on that, see if it works.
That's a minimum requirement. So yeah, no, I do actually feel sorry for Man United fans now. Although them losing to Bournemouth 3-0 is still funny.
Yeah.
The most notable thing that happened in European football was, as we mentioned earlier, Ronaldo and Messi both leaving. Because it's been a time for 15 years probably where two people have dominated not only European football but world football really. And the special thing about it was they played for rivals in the same league, Real Madrid and Barcelona, who were probably for that span of time the two best teams in the world. They were the two best players in the world, going head to head and pushing themselves to next levels all the time. Just taking it to a new level.
Like fucking 70
insane amounts of goals, and then one of them got lots of assists as well. So,
which one was it? The unselfish one?
Yeah, do you know? Surprisingly, it was. Yeah. It was the one that when he masturbates, it's not in front of a mirror. It was that one.
To be fair, we've all done it. Internet's done. What are you going to do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You've got a girlfriend, just like, no, head, no. But no, it was a time that's going to be difficult to try and explain to like people that weren't alive during it.
Yeah.
To try and explain just how dominant these two guys were, and
every like football conversation boiled down to like
Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah, it was Barca or Real, Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think the scope in the Premier League for that to happen again. I think if Mbappe goes to the Premier League for another team that isn't Man City, if he goes to Man City, then we're all fucked. But like, if he was to go to another team that isn't Man City, and you would have Haaland and Mbappe, I think that would be similar. I don't think it would ever be as good because the longevity of these two guys is incredible. The fact that Ronaldo scored over 50 goals every year for like 12 years, Messi the same. Like, I don't think that'll ever happen again.
What was it Messi got in a single calendar year, wasn't it? Like 92. What? I mean, like
92 goals in 12 months.
You wouldn't believe that unless you were alive to see it. It's just... And then both departing. I'm glad that Messi went to America rather than Saudi, because I think it's a higher standard of football, and it just feels better.
I thought because you were going to say because I'm a renowned racist.
Yeah. And that's why I love America, because great racism.
The best racism.
But no, I'm glad. It's just a shame that he went there to Inter Miami after Fizzer had already left. Him and Phil Neville together, what a partnership that would have been.
Was it was Mikey Johnson not playing for him for a while as well?
I don't know.
There was an ex-Celtic player that was there on loan, or like a current or ex-Celtic player that was there on loan.
You can have him back.
Oh, why not? That's going to annoy me.
Oh fuck! I think I know who you're talking about, but the name escapes me. That's only relevant to us, anyway. No one else is going to care about that. Right, what else do we need to talk about from the year? Is there any other big stories, or should we just go into the coveted awards?
Do you want to head into the coveted awards?
Right, okay. So what we're going to start with? Game of the year? Is that the first one? Right, so a few contenders. Why don't you give me your first one, and then I'll give you one of mine.
Newcastle United 6, Spurs 1.
Mate,
5 goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it was a massive game for Newcastle at the time because we were chasing the Champions League top 4, and Spurs just pure Spurs the fuck out of it, man. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, I remember that because there was a guy on a radio show, I think it was TalkSport, something like that, and he said that he went, like, he was working, listening to the game, he went to the toilet, grabbed a coffee, came back, and the score had gone from like 1-1 to 4-1 or something, like a 5-1, and he's just like, how has this happened?
Aye.
Oh, I loved that day, man.
That was my favourite, because there was a lot of pressure on Newcastle at the time. Because we had to win every game in like the last fucking 6 games. And coming up against Spurs, who were like already tearing themselves apart.
Yeah.
And Spurs are going to Spurs.
I think that was the game as well where everyone in Newcastle had this moment of, holy fuck, we can actually do this.
This is going to happen.
Yeah. And because of the margin of victory, winning that game would have been a big confidence boost anyway, even though Spurs were Spurs not up that season. But still, you're still beating a team that has really good players in it and who are consistently in the Champions League. So in your head, that's enough of a boost. But the fact that you thumped them, it's like, not only can we do this, but we belong.
Aye.
Like, it's not like we're punching above our weight here. We deserve to be there this year. So that was a really big thing for them, actually. And it was a very enjoyable game for me.
It was fucking fantastic.
My first suggestion, and it's a bit obvious, and I know I was just saying that I feel sorry for Man United, but Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0.
Yeah, that would have been second for me.
It was also put forward, unsurprisingly, by our guest Dan McKenna. Jay, the Manchester United fan, did not put this game forward.
Didn't he mention it?
No, it's weird that, isn't it? It's because of how absurd it was, because obviously we think about Man U now, but back then they were the informed team. I think this was one of the first times in the past like 10 years that Manchester United were going to Anfield as favourites because they were doing so much better. Liverpool had a shocker last season. So they were expected to, at the very least, draw. And then they lost 7-0. And the strangest thing about it is until 43 minutes, it was 0-0. There was only one goal scored in the first half, and that was in the 43rd minute. 6 goals came in the second half. And it wasn't just the fact that there was 7 goals, the nature of them. That there's the Gakpo goal, or Hakpo, sorry, the dribbling from Salah, the pass through, and then the dink over the goalkeeper, like from a tight angle. It was just like, these guys are really good at football. And because Hakpo was new at the time, you're like, oh, this could be a problem when they get to start to gel together a bit more. But no, that was an
Have you ever seen the video of like Carragher and Neville side by side as each goal goes? And Neville's just like, fuck this, man.
For that alone, it's got to be a contender, yeah. Because you could genuinely see all hope leave Gary Neville's eyes. Let's see if we've got any other contenders. Chelsea 4, City 4 this season was pretty.
That was a screamer.
It was a pretty good game, but I think the difference between that and the other two is the reason there were so many goals in that game is because they both played like shit. It wasn't outstanding football by either team. They were just both awful defensively, and I can't really give any kind of award to this current Chelsea team. They don't deserve it. Let's see what Jay put for game of the year. Aston Villa 6, Brighton 1. Yeah, would say that. I think it's got to be between the Liverpool and the Newcastle game. What are you going to stick to your guns and go Newcastle?
No, I'm prepared to go for the Liverpool 7-0.
I think
just because in a derby that never happens.
Yeah, it's the biggest game in England,
and it's happening to Man U. So
yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, our sympathy really didn't last long, did it?
Fuck him.
Right, okay, next one is team of the year, and this is not individual players, this is just the best team over the past 12 months, and it is going to be really boring, I'm afraid, guys, but I'm going to nominate Manchester City.
See, I changed. I was going to say Man City straight away, and then I changed to Aston Villa just because they like what they've done this year.
Yeah,
like the calendar year league table, they're second, no by much to Man City.
Yeah,
and like considering that Emery came in October.
Yeah, and they were
the year before.
Yeah,
and they've fucking
flirting with relegation at that point.
And now they're like in the top 4. They've won 15 home games in a row.
I can respect that, yeah. I can respect that. And it's not a bad shout. I think like if there was going to be a second place, they would certainly be contenders for that. But I think when a team wins a treble, you can't really not give them team of the year. I hate doing it. I hate doing it because, you know, they picked my team to be one of those, and there's a lot more deserving ownership structures out there, put it that way, and fan bases, to be honest with you, you know, ones who show up, for example. But they were the best team. Like the football they played last year in particular, how good Gundogan was out of nowhere, like just came clutch. Holland came in first season and just dominated the Premier League. Bernardo Silva was brilliant. Kevin De Bruyne was brilliant. And there wasn't a weakness in that team at all.
Rodri,
aye, who is probably the best midfielder in the league right now. So it's a boring answer, but I think it has to be Man City for team of the year.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Pep gives a shit. Right, okay, so we'll do this slightly quicker, because obviously if we take time with this, it'll be forever. Individual team of the year, so this is players and stuff like that. Who's your goalie?
Ederson.
Yeah, I thought it would be. I'm going to go left field in this one.
Martinez?
No, Bernd Leno.
What?
He's made more saves than anyone else in the Premier League.
That's because he plays for a shite team.
Yeah, but here's my case.
If you put Ederson in goal for Fulham, he'll fucking save him.
Here's my case, right? You take Ederson out and replace him with someone significantly less than him in that City team. They're still probably going to win most games, and they're still probably going to win the league. You take, and by the way, Ederson will be the goalkeeper of the year, but he will be in the team. I'm just making the case for Bernd Leno. If you take Leno out of Fulham and replace him with someone worse than him,
they're getting relegated.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I like Bernd Leno. I felt sorry for him with what happened at Arsenal, because he got injured, and then Martinez came in, and then that was just the end of his Arsenal career.
No Alisson there? No.
Well,
So Jay was like hands down Alisson.
But he's made quite a few mistakes. Alisson. He's looking really good now, but there's been a couple of times where he's been proper shaky. And also, what did he win? I know Leno hasn't won anything either, but you can't have him in over Ederson, you know.
So I was always, up until this season, I always thought that Alisson was a better keeper than Ederson. But then see when Liverpool played City, it was glaring that Ederson was way better because his distribution. Like Alisson gave the ball away so many times, one and led to a goal. Like he was just terrible with his distribution, and Ederson, like he can ping fucking prime Xavi passes, man.
Yeah. Our two guests have both put Alisson as theirs, but one of them is a Liverpool fan, so
he's gone.
Yeah, discount that. It's Ederson. Ederson's the goalkeeper of the year. But well done, Leno, for just getting a mention on something. Defence, what have you? Back four have you gone for him?
Yeah, back four. Back four, 3 midfielders, front 3.
Yeah, that's what I've done as well.
Yeah, good
Who's
stuff.
your back four then?
Zinchenko.
Ooh.
Left back.
That's left field as well.
Zinchenko, Trippier, Stones, although he doesn't really play centre back, but because he does it so well, and Shah.
Right, so we've got one player in common.
Who is it?
Trippier. Although I've got Stones / Van Dijk, so I will take Stones in there.
I would drop Shaw for Van Dijk. I just wanted to put an on.
Saliba has to be in it for me.
Oh, aye.
Saliba has to, because like there's still only like 3 players that have ever dribbled past him in his entire Premier League career. And you saw the difference in Arsenal's defence when he wasn't in it last season. Arguably his absence from that team was the reason that they fell away at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I just think he's one of the best defenders in the league at the moment, and the year he's had has just been incredible.
Who's your left back then?
I've put Trippier out there.
Oh, who's your right back then?
Kyle Walker. It's got to be like. Yeah. So I think I love Zinchenko, I do, but I'd much rather put Trippier at left back, where he has played there. I'd much rather put him at left back and have Walker in the team than have Zinchenko. And I'm an Arsenal fan, but the Trippier deserves to be in there more than him, and it would be insanity for like Walker's just incredible. So
keeps getting better.
We go Walker, Trippier, Stones, and you happy with Saliba?
I'll take Saliba. Aye.
There you go. Walker, Stones, Saliba, and Trippier. That's the back 4. Midfield, who you got?
I did have Declan Rice CDM, but I'm going to change it to Rodri.
Right.
Because it's Rodri. Bernardo Silva and John McGinn.
That's interesting. So I've gone for Rodri as well, and only just left Declan Rice out.
Aye. I've just changed in this moment because
I've gone Bernardo Silva.
Oh, have you?
Uh-huh.
And who's the other centre mid?
João Palhinha.
Oh, what? Do you try to get red cards in this team?
No, look at what he did for Fulham last season. He was.
Why have you suddenly got a boner for Fulham?
I don't. I just think Paulinho's like
you're a cottager.
Drinking Baileys with my legs crossed.
You're a cottager, just admit it.
I think him last year, he was easily in that midfield team of the year in last season.
Yeah.
He was so good. Bayern Munich wanted to buy him. We're desperate to buy him. I mean, if I'm being honest, I just wanted to bring him out of the conversation because in reality I'd put Declan Rice in there because he was brilliant for West Ham and he's been transformative at Arsenal.
I would. So like
I'm not married to it.
You're going to have Rodri.
Yeah.
Right, we've both agreed on Bernardo Silva.
Yep.
Now we're doing to John McGinn or Declan Rice. I'm taking John McGinn. Just for the improvement.
I'll concede. John McGinn is on my list.
Just for the improvement he's made and like the goals he chips in with.
So, John McGinn is on my list of honourable mentions, like the ones I've only just left out. So he was like just after Declan Rice. And then I've got honourable mentions for Bruno Guimaraes and Douglas Luiz as well, because I think they've both been brilliant. But I'm happy to concede
John McGinn.
Declan Rice for John McGinn, I think is fucking mental, because as much as I love John McGinn, Declan Rice is a much better footballer. But we'll put John McGinn into the team.
But it's because like I'll give like a wee adage to this. It's only because it's no CDM.
Yeah.
It's Rodri, then Rice for CDM. And I think John McGinn's better further forward than Declan Rice would be.
Possibly, yeah.
Just to help you sleep tonight. Your front three.
Sorry, this is probably the easiest part of it for me.
Easy for me.
Salah, Haaland and Saka.
Oh, I've got Salah. It has to be Salah right wing. It has to be Haaland. I've got Foden.
Okay,
he's had an incredible season.
I've got stats for why it should be Saka.
What are you expecting?
Because I knew people would be like, oh, this is just Arsenal bias. So this season he's got 5 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League already. We're only 17 games in for a winger. That's very impressive. Last season got 14 goals and 11 assists. But one of the few players that got double figures for both. And he's just getting better and better every year. He just looks like... He was also England Player of the Year both those years.
Yeah.
Like I just don't know how. I just don't think there's. If Salah wasn't in the league, he'd be like. I think people would be looking at him as the best.
Like because Saka plays in the same position as Salah, you have to have Salah over Saka. I'm talking about left wingers now.
But Foden isn't a left winger either.
He is. He plays in the left.
This season he plays in the centre.
I bet.
So if you're going to do that, I'm going to rule out Foden.
So who are we going to? Who's our compromise?
Well, fucking Jeremy Dock. Left wing. There's not really been any standouts out there.
No.
Oh, because Chelsea been pish.
Do you know what? We'll just change it to 4-4-2. We'll put Declan Rice in.
No, because then
fuck the whole wing. Get John McGinn right wing.
You can't have Foden over Saka, mate. If the England national team aren't doing it, you can't do it. That's my standpoint. You could put either of them in either wing. I've put Trippier at left back and he doesn't play.
Fine, then we'll have Saka.
Good man. Right. Good man. That's my boy.
You give me John McGinn, so
yeah, there you go. I didn't even think about playing that card. Player of the year then. Well, by the way, I'll put a list of who's actually made our team of the year up, and I'll send it to Paul and we'll put it in the graphics so
player
you can see.
Player of the year. Rodri.
I agree. That's the shortest one we've done so far. 90% of the year he's been the best player in the league.
Aye. And like the difference in Man City with the team is huge.
It's weird to think about a midfielder in the Man City team that like being better than Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously not better at football than Kevin De Bruyne, but
more important to the team.
Team than Kevin De Bruyne is, because De Bruyne is, well, obviously it might be telling now, but there was a long period this season and last season when De Bruyne was injured, and it really did not affect Man City in any way, shape or form. They were still scoring goals all the time. But Rodri dropped out for 3 games and I think they lost did they lose all 3 or lose 2 and draw 1?
They lost 2 and then they drew 1.
So, I mean, it just... Obviously, people will be saying Haaland because he scored more goals than God, but I just think that if you take Haaland at that team, Alvarez can do that job, as he, generally speaking, is. Alvarez is a top player, but you take Rodri at that team, Phillips ain't going to cut it. And
I think... Because there's very few true number 9s these days. I think the top 3 in Europe, Haaland, Kane, Lewandowski. I think all 3 of them would do the same for Man City. Like Harry Kane would score the same amount of goals as Haaland would.
Maybe not quite the same amount, but it'd be comparable numbers.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Lewandowski would definitely he would. People think he's dodging the Premier League or something like that. It's no, you put Lewandowski in any league in the world and he will score
a ton of goals.
Insane amount of goals, because he's just I'm a big fan of Lewandowski, actually. But completely irrelevant to this conversation, but I really love him.
Manager of the year? Pep.
I'm not going to be bored with this one. I think it's Unai Emery. I know it's going to have to be Pep because he won the treble, but when you look at, it's like what you were saying with Villa being the team of the year. I'm just going to make basically the same argument you did for that. It will be City in the end. It will be Pep in the end because he won the treble. But like we were saying, when he came in, they were fighting relegation. He's got more points than anyone other than City this season. He's beaten both City and Arsenal already this season. the way they've completely changed, how they can adapt. Because the part of the thing people used to say about Unai Emery is he only has one way to play. But against City, he played a completely different way than he played against Arsenal, which was a completely different way than he played against Brentford.
Yeah.
He's got all the fans on board, which is something that he's struggled to do with fan bases in the past without winning something. He's got all the players pulling in the same direction. His signings that he's made seem to be absolutely perfect for what he wants. He's just doing a fantastic job. He's just
and he looks
brilliant.
like the butler from Mr. Deeds. So.
Yes, or Dracula meets Michael Barrymore. It's a dated reference for you, but that was a lovely case for Unai Emery. But it's gonna have to be Pep. If you win a treble, you get the fucking prize. That's the unfortunate thing. What's next? Moment of the year.
Aye, moment of the year.
It's got to be Luton getting promoted for me.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
Because they were conference level not too long ago. Then they were in League 2 for a long period of time. They were in League 1. And now they're in the Premier League. And nobody expected it, least of all the people that own Luton, because the stadium is not ready.
The stadium's at the end of Cunt's Gardens, man.
Yeah, genuinely.
You can go. You can take a bin out on the way to watching the football.
It's not even a joke, genuinely. If you've never seen Kenilworth Road, look it up. It's the most insane stadium. You're cutting through people's gardens basically to get in the stadium. It's amazing, and the fact that they did it with there's no big names in that team. There's no standout champ they're the best player in the championship or anything like that.
Aye.
And what they've done is quite cleverly gone and bought as many of the best players in the championship as they could when they got to the Premier League, because obviously they had that money to spend, so that when they go down again to the championship, which they probably will, they have a very good chance of bouncing straight back up because they've already bought the best players in the championship.
The old fucking West Brom blueprint, where you just go up and down for a few years.
That was Norwich's forte, lest we forget.
Aye.
They were very good at Watford for a time, did that as well, because they would just buy players, because they're owned by the Italian family, aren't they? And they would just buy players from those other clubs.
Aye.
But yeah, no, that has to be the moment of the year for me.
I would disagree with
and
that.
nothing else really stands out. There's probably hundreds of things and you'll think of something. In fact, let's look at what the other boy said. That's other notes. Moment of the year. Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. You can fuck off. You fuck off, Jay.
We watched that in the Hard Rock on my phone.
Yeah, we did, yeah. During a gig.
Aye.
Not paying attention to our fellow comedians' performances.
Just watching the football.
Because they were Arsenal were 3-1 down.
Yep.
And then they pulled it back.
Walcott scored 2.
I thought you meant for Arsenal. I was like, have I travelled in time?
Aye.
But no, and we got it back to 3-3 and we were creating chances, and I'm sitting there
aye, well, there's
desperately trying not to cheer when we scored during somebody's gig. Instead I thought, I fucking killed it. I'm killing this, man.
Pedro loved that dick joke.
Okay, here we go. Dan said it was a personal one for him, but Salah becoming our Premier League top goal scorer versus United in front of the Kop, which is fair enough. You can understand why he'd say that, but you're not getting that, I'm afraid, Dan. It's going to be Luton's promotion. What else have we got? What's next then?
Breakdown of the year. You know what it's going to be.
Well,
there's no argument here.
Yes, there fucking is. Watch me. So, granted, I will give you Arteta's against Newcastle. It's a very good shout. The reason I think the one I have in mind is more of a breakdown is because there's no justification for it. So Arteta's just had a goal ruled out, which you admitted was incorrect. A goal given against him, which you admitted was wrong. It should have been a free kick for the foul on Gabriel. Newcastle had been, and I'm not judging you for this, dane their tits in all game.
Mate, we've been shithousing you for the last game.
Exactly. So it was a moment of high passion. What he said was out of order. It was definitely a breakdown. But he did not say that he keeps a box of lemons in his room to chase off bad vibes. So, I'm sorry, but breakdown of the year has to be Mauricio Pochettino, unprompted, for no reason, not after a game, not in a press conference, say that he keeps lemons and say that he believes in the lemons.
I feel like
the lemons are not magic.
I feel like the only, that is a breakdown, but I feel like the only reason we shouldn't give it that is because that's an ongoing breakdown. But it sounds like this guy is having a full-on mental psychosis.
If you put it this way, if someone you know said that, you'd be like, he's having a breakdown.
Aye. And somebody better get patted. He's got a box of lemons in his hands. To ward off bad spirits.
You could see it being a Lemmy sketch, like a follow-up to She's Turned the Wains Against Us. Just that same guy with She's Turned the Lemons
Against Us. Do you know what? No, I'm still going to stick with Arteta because I think that Pochettino is an ongoing situation that we should keep an eye on.
I think the others agreed with you, but I don't think they had considered Pochettino. Well, we'll give it to Arteta then, but Poch, I think you deserve it. So that's just my opinion. And what was next? Goal of the year. So there's a couple of shouts for this. Obviously, McAtee's recently.
Yeah.
McAllister's against Fulham. A lot of these are quite recent. It might be recency bias kicking in, but it has to be Garnacho's overhead kick, doesn't it?
It does. It's the most memorable goal of the year.
Yeah, and it'll be goal of the season this year, and
it'll be one of the goals that gets replayed for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Just because it was an overhead kick for the edge of the box.
It'll be like a Sky ident, Rooney's is used, and it'll be like that.
There was a shout for the Brighton's goal against Man City at the end of last
season.
Cecil? Aye.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It said that was a screamer.
What did Dan put forward? He might have just said Garnacho and McAllister, so yeah. And he said Enciso as well, so that's two shouts out for Enciso.
I'd say Garnacho.
I think it has to be Garnacho, just because the ball's going away from him. He's a teenager, and I don't understand what part of his brain thought that would be a good idea.
Especially low in confidence, playing for a team that's fucking no winning shit.
Aye. What we got now? Funniest moment of the year. So there's quite a few belters. Few to choose from. There's Roy Hodgson squaring up to Max Lowe.
Yep.
There's the revelation that Big Dunk was in the jail with your dad. There's Chelsea's entire existence. So it's difficult to decide. No, it's fucking Poch, innit? It's the lemons.
The lemons, mate.
It's got to be the lemons.
Mate, it only happened, and we'll probably cover it if we've got time, but it only happened this weekend. But Amy Martinez, just deadlifting Mopai with his shot. Oh, yeah. Was fucking amazing.
Impromptu award for shithouse of the year, Amy Martinez. Well done, mate. Yeah.
Mate, see any guy that wins the Golden Glove at the World Cup and then grabs it, goes, hey! Like that, it's a legend.
In the most prudish, strict country on the planet. Well done, Amy. You're a fucking nut job. But I think it's got to be Poch's Lemons interview that's the funniest moment of the year.
Jay had a shout where it was Klopp pulling his hamstring chasing a ref.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
That was funny.
That was really funny. I forgot about that.
That is a screamer.
Or to put it, anything involving, this is what he's actually said, anything involving Nathan Jones or Cop, he's put Cop, he meant Klopp, injuring his arse, screaming at the fourth official. Which is actually, that's a really good show. I forgot about that.
I think I would get to Klopp getting injured, screaming at a fourth official.
Yeah.
I think I would go for that.
Yeah. I'm so, I can't believe Poch is walking away with nothing here, but yeah. Cop injuring his arse in the words of Jay. So well done, Klopp.
Foul of the year, and it only happened again this week. And I don't know if this is recency bias, but the Jimenez jumping arse first into Matty Longstaff after getting elbowed. It was amazing.
See when he's charging towards him and leaping through the air, I swear you could just hear him go, Leroy Jenkins.
Just going arse first.
He genuinely was his head height with the guy as well.
Aye.
I'd love to get Marsa. Don't read into that.
The night is young, Pedro. I've got a few numbers we can phone.
I see. That doesn't mean anything, Mum, if you're listening to this. No, I was just going to say, I was going to give it to Christian Romero's general being, but I'm happy to concede to that Raul Jimenez butt assault on
arse first tackle
an innocent human being. So well done. I mean, like, someone who's that familiar with head injuries, you'd think he wouldn't leap arse first into someone's skull.
I know.
What a sentence that is to say. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Right, okay, so FUD of the year.
I didn't have FUD of the year. What FUD of the year?
I've got FUD of the year.
Who's the FUD of the year?
The referees.
The referees.
I mean,
Howard Webb.
We might talk about it a bit later, but I mean, the fact that Dallo got sent off for 2 acts of dissent in the same bit of play is just when he's right. But never. No, the referee's right. I know there was a guy fucking attacked in Turkey and that's awful and all that shit, but you need to do better. Like, you need to do better. The fact that every single podcast we've been on, we've said there's always been a discussion about something the referees got wrong. And it's never just one game, it's multiple games. And as I've said before, the fact that you get more right than you get wrong, not good enough, not for the top level. So referees, you're FUD of the year. Well done.
FUD of the year.
And I'm guessing most people would want to give that to Arteta for his outburst, but
honestly,
he's one of those guys. It's like a Scott Brown situation. It's like I don't know what other kind of player you would use for that, but it's just someone who's an arsehole, Luis Suarez. But when he's yours, you fucking love it. And especially if it ends up getting results in the pitch, which Arteta is doing, because lest we forget, Arsenal are top of the league.
Well, I just said well.
I thought you said well. I was like,
I said well.
Expecting a riposte.
That was a well in support. No,
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Patrick. So now what we've got predictions for next year. So that our guests have given us sort of more generic ones, like random sort of anything they think is going to happen. But we've gone a bit more specific. So the Euros, who's going to win that?
France.
I agree. They've got hands down for me. Best squad.
Germany is an outside. Like, I know Germany have been a bit honking the last few tournaments, but they're young players that are coming through.
Yeah,
they've got like a wave of young players.
Adeyemi's top notch. Yeah,
Musiala, Kimmich. Like, there's some quality players coming through.
We'll talk about this a bit later when we discuss the games. But Havertz is finding form again. If he gets good, like Leverkusen good, he might actually be a useful player for them.
I think a goal scorer is all I'm missing, but
yeah. So. Yeah,
but I think it's France.
I think it's France. Like, they've got the best squad. They've got probably the best player in the world now.
They won a World Cup.
They've won,
and then they got to the final
of the Euros.
And then that was England, Italy.
They won the Euros and got to the final of the World Cup. It's that way round, but it was the previous Euros, I'm sure. Well, no, in fact, no, that was Portugal. It was the last World Cup.
So they won the World Cup in 2018. They were finalists last year.
Yeah.
And then I think this is it.
So they've got some players that know how to win tournaments. They've got a manager that's won international tournament, both as a player and a manager.
Yeah.
They've got players that are just at the top level in all across Europe. And for me, Mbappe probably is, between him and Bellingham, like the best player in the world at the moment. So I can only see them winning it. They do have a tendency to fuck up a tournament every now and then, but I can't see it being this one. I just can't. Ballon d'Or winner?
Bellingham.
He's one of my two. Bellingham or Mbappe I've got. Which again, boring as fuck answer, but they are the most obvious choices.
I would like Bellingham. I think he's just a really good football player, man. And the fact that, like, Real Madrid fans don't take to foreign players that well. Yeah. Especially English players.
Hi, Gareth Bale.
Or British. But the fact that they've taken to him immediately just tells you everything.
What age is Bellingham again?
Like 21.
21? I don't know. I was trying to think if he'd be one of the youngest winners ever, but probably not. Yeah, he's just been outstanding since he's gone there. He's I think he's their top goal scorer as well from midfield. Just, I don't know. I think he has a good tournament for England as well, which he probably will do because he's their best player. He's doing wonders for Real Madrid. He'll probably pick up at least a trophy with them, potentially Champions League or something like that. So, yeah, Bellingham or Mbappe. Mbappe is just an obvious one. Now that Messi and Ronaldo are, obviously they're still playing, but they're basically out of the way when it comes to the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Obviously, Messi won the Ballon d'Or this year. I think there was an element of sentiment in that for the World Cup and stuff, but it's fair enough. Also, it just puts an exclamation point on the whole fuck Ronaldo. Premier League, Man City. I hate saying it. I know, like, we're top and City are on their lowest points tally at this point of the season. By 1 point, and they have won it from that 1 point above before. But they've just got a 20-game run.
For January to March,
when Holland comes back fit and De Bruyne is coming back mid-January. And De Bruyne has apparently said he wants to come back as the best player in the world, which just sounds like a threat to me. He's going to come back. Because he isn't that kind of guy. He's quite a humble dude. For him to come back and say that. Everybody's talking about Rodri and he's like, I'll fucking show you guys. So he's going to come back with a fire in his belly. And a determined and angry De Bruyne is fucking frightening.
Who's going to be top four?
City, Liverpool. This is not in order. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa. Ooh. I think so. I don't think Tottenham are as good as Aston Villa right now. Nah. I
think I would agree with that, but it'll be between Villa, Spurs, and maybe Newcastle or Man U if they get their shit together.
Yeah,
for fourth,
which they won't.
They definitely won't. Oh, I think this is
I was going to ask.
AU vodka.
Yeah.
So, like, this is like a pure famous vodka brand. Like, can you remember the boy that Eden Hazard kicked?
Yeah.
At Swansea?
Yeah.
He owns this. That wee guy owns this. That's what he does.
I knew he was a wank. I'm assuming his dad's rich as fuck or something.
His dad was the chairman. But the ball boy that Eden Hazard kicked, he owns.
It's a fun fact. There you go.
AU vodka.
AU vodka. Owned by a wee prick for Chelsea.
No, for Swansea.
Swansea?
Aye.
Oh,
he was a Swansea ball boy that Eden Hazard kicked.
Yeah. That's about that. I was about to say something very insulting to Welsh people there. I didn't know they had that kind of money. That's what I was about to say.
I didn't know they got that kind of money. How many sheep that cost?
Sorry, Wales. In fact, Swansea's a shithole. I don't care. Right, okay, we'll need to do a quick run through of the weekend's games, but we've only got like just about 13 minutes to do so.
Let's do it.
Liverpool United. We're starting with this because it's the biggest game for the weekend, not because it was interesting in any way, shape, or form.
Terrible.
Because United clearly set out in this match to go, we don't want to lose 7-0.
Yeah.
And fair play to them. They stuck to that plan and it worked.
Yeah, they didn't.
Didn't lose 7-0. I think Liverpool had something like 36 shots though.
Man United too. And then Van Dijk came out in the post-match and said, there was only one team trying to win that. And then Roy Keane went mental and said he was being an arrogant cunt, which... he wasn't.
No.
It was only one team trying to win it.
But don't be petty about that kind of stuff.
Aye.
Like, you do what you have to win football matches.
Aye.
Just not everyone's fucking, let's just do whatever we want and score all the goals and all that kind of stuff and concede 15 at the same time. Like, Liverpool, like, not every team's going to take that approach. Like, when they play City and City just keep the ball 90% of the time, you go, oh, well, they're not trying to win. It's like, no, you got to... Man, you aren't as good as you. What do you expect them to do?
Fair enough.
Like they came up against Burnley, like only one of us are trying to win this match. No, they're not as good. That's what they have to do.
I'm trying to think of any big chances in the game. Trent had a shot.
Oh, that was a lovely shot. It was so unlucky.
A shame it never went in.
Yeah.
And then there was the Darlow red card.
Yeah. No, it's a nonsense that it's complete. Like, give him one yellow card, and then if he's still being a dick, say, mate,
it was quite wild. Like, cause he just went, oh, fuck's sake. And he was like, yellow card. And he went, oh, for fuck's sake. And he went, oh, what you...
Especially because he was right. It was a throw to Man United. It should have been because Salah kicked the ball out of play. So you imagine you're in a derby like that. You've just busted a gut to get back and make an excellent tackle. You win the throw-in by doing that. It's given against you. Of course, you're going to be like, oh, fuck off, man. Like, after all that, I'm the one that's going to... We could end up conceding from this.
Do you know, my advice to Premier League players with this whole dissent thing just now is just treat refs like your ma when she's in a raging mood. So like your mom goes, right, you fucking get that tidy, and you go, fuck's sake. She goes, what? If you say something else, you're gonna get a doing. So like you just clamp it. Like you just get told once. Yellow card, that's you.
Patrick is 37.
My mom,
tidy that room.
my mom is mental.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on to City Palace quickly then. Who saw this coming?
Great result for the rest of the league.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's bizarre. Like City obviously started just controlling the game, and they started very wide as well. And noticed Bernardo Silva was really out wide, and Doku wasn't on, but so it was Grealish. He's a lot more central, but Vardio was coming up from the back.
Oh mate, he nearly scored a fucking belter a goal.
I know. Like very like Udogie in the Spurs game from last week, but the fact that they were pushing that far forward and that far wide is what left the gap for like Crystal Palace to expose when they went down the other end. But they played some really good football, as City always do, and it didn't look like there was ever going to be a way back into it for a long period of the game, other than if they managed to get a ball over the top to expose the fullbacks being forward. But I mean, Foden's pass to Grealish was chef's kiss, you know, it was really nice. He's a chef, see. Aye, so great first goal. That was that one there. Henderson made a bunch of really good saves. Actually, Henderson was great in this game.
I know.
Got cramp as a goalie.
Man United could really do with a keeper like him right now.
I know. Instead of slippery digits Onana, but that made him sound a bit gropey, didn't it?
Big slippery digits Onana.
That's a nickname you don't want. Slippery digits.
Big Kerry gold fingers.
It was a nice boat for Rico Lewis. Scoring for City, you know, because he's an academy product.
Is he's the boy for the picture as a ball boy, isn't he?
I think so. Aye. But he's been there since he was like very, very young, and he looks like a really, really good player. But he's been asked to play at fullback. He's looked great when he's played in the midfield. He's looked great, and I just think he looks like he could be a mainstay at that team. And if he's there for long enough, he could end up being captain one day, just because of knowing the club that well, and a lot of the players that go there will end up being kind of mercenaries. I think part of the reason why City are having this dip, it's not just because they won the treble last season, but you think about the Fergie era at Manchester United, how often he would refresh the team. There's a lot of players that have been there for quite a while now, and maybe he hasn't.
Fergie would get rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy at his peak. Fuck him.
Jab stab after 6 months. That was his biggest regret in football. But I think City might need to do that. But obviously, when they've got all these charges against them, maybe they can't just go mental and completely swap out the team. But how many people did they sign this year? It was Gvardiol, Doku, and Kovacic.
I think that was it.
Was it any? Yeah, no other first team players that I can remember. So who's their back? Is it Scott Carson that's their backup goalie, or is it someone else? It's Scott Carson, isn't it? I'm sure there's someone mental like that.
What the fuck is Willie Caballero?
Oh, he left ages ago, mate.
He's been everywhere.
Aye.
He made a career out of being a number 2.
That is very true, actually.
Out of being shite, aye.
I was going to say the City players were complaining about the penalty, but it was the most awful penalty of the weekend.
I need to VAR something that I said last week with the Villa Arsenal game. So that was a penalty.
Jesus
Foden going in, which made the one I was talking about last week, because I said it was accidental. Because it was a much slower impact, I was like, oh, it's not a penalty, so it's accidental.
So you're betting it was penalty?
I'm VARing myself now, and I'm saying that was a penalty.
Good. You're correct. Well done. See, you can admit mistakes, referees. You know, you're allowed to do that. We already mentioned it was. Oh, in fact, should talk about the finish on the penalty. Olise, how cool he was.
Sat him in his arse.
I gave him the eyes and I just rolled it into the corner. I was like, mate, you're going to get signed by a big team in no time, man. Lowest points tally ever after 17 games, but they're on 34th. They have won it once from being on 35. So don't take that as any kind of indication.
I think the league being so competitive will work in their favour.
Yeah.
So Aston Villa,
we're all going to take points off each other.
They're all going to take points off each other.
And then when they start their run,
aye,
they'll just steamroller everyone. especially with a raging Kevin De Bruyne for some reason. Arsenal Brighton, some really good football early on. Odegaard's pass to Saka that he then squared to Martinelli and he put over the bar.
Yeah,
was just like that ball. It was just unbelievably good. And Martinelli's already at 150 games for Arsenal.
I can't believe it.
I know. It feels like he's just
when
a baby,
did he
man.
get his first game? Like when he was 10?
I don't know. No, because he was signed from like a Division 2 or 3 Brazilian team.
Was he?
Yeah, he wasn't even like their top flight. And Arsenal just went in and went, no, we'll have him. And now he's a mainstay of that team. So I don't know what that scout was getting paid, but he deserves more, honestly, because that's a hell of a fine. Arsenal had 15 shots in the first half, but only 3 on target. Like,
I feel like it when you measure on the William scale, but like Martinelli's was a bit of a sitter.
Yeah,
It's an open goal and he puts it on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was being tackled at the time. Maybe that's something that could be in his defence, but he should be doing better with it because the play up till that point was so nice as well. A lot of the shots were only just wide and stuff like that, so you can't read too much into it, but they do need to be more clinical in that kind of situation.
I think a goal scorer's all they're missing.
Yeah. Well, like I sent you a message the other day. Fabrizio Romano said that Arsenal are looking to bring in Ivan Toney. I would love that. That would be amazing for me. Just having a big sort of unit up front, like a sort of Jack Mackis at Celtic style, like just that kind of. He's got clear skill and ability, but he can bulldoze a goal into the back of the net if he has to, and he's absolutely the guy for that. So hopefully that can happen. But the first goal for Arsenal was the easiest goal ever, because Jesus was completely unmarked in the back post.
Just cushion header.
I know he's not prolific, but he's still a Brazilian that used to play for Man City and now plays for Arsenal. Maybe put someone on him, that's all I'm saying.
It's because he's like 5'8" or something, is he no?
Yeah, don't think he's that small. Jesus isn't small, by the way. Jesus isn't small.
I think I'm the same height as Gabriel Jesus.
No, I've just Googled Jesus. That's not going to help. We'll find out.
Jesus was tiny, mate.
I'll find out.
You go back 2,000 years, he was like 5'1". I'd kick fuck out of Jesus.
Oh, you couldn't. He's a magician, man. He's pure magic Ian. He'll confuse you. Right, but so it's a good goal from Jesus. I'll find out what height he is and I'll forget to let you know, but I'll tell Patrick.
While you're talking, I'll get it.
Dunk made some big blocks. First with his plums, and then with his head.
That wee spell of blocks that he made was incredible.
I know,
because he made 2 class blocks. One of them was like maybe a penalty because like he had his hand on it, but they never even looked at it again. But he made those 2 amazing blocks, and then for the corner that resulted in, he had a goal line clearance that was behind the line. Somehow, like the ball was like more than halfway across the line, and he managed to clip it onto the bar and over. Yeah,
but I mean, he is very solid, and you could see the difference without him in their team last week. Havertz, is this? Are we beginning to see him go back to his Leverkusen form? That's 4 goals in his last 7 games.
Yeah, he took the goal well. I don't know, like he just doesn't look like he gives a fuck. He's one of those players where his body language kind of betrays him a wee bit, like Berbatov used to have it. There's been loads of players over the years where like their body language looks like they can't be fucked.
Yeah.
Even Ozil had that a wee bit.
It could just be in a purple patch as well. It could just be in good form. But it'd be nice, fingers crossed, that he's actually
I think he could turn out, like if he can get to the same form he had at Leverkusen we use. That's an amazing signing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
One thing I did learn for this game is I fucking hate Mikel Arteta. I hate him.
We did mention this earlier. If he's your manager, you like him. If he's somebody else's,
I know, but like it's just, what was it? Saka got pulled back in the halfway line right in front of him, and it's like a foul in a nothing area. It's a yellow card. The referee gives the yellow card, but he still goes mental about it, and it gets himself booked. And it's just like sometimes I think he wants to be centre of attention. Well, it annoys me.
There's
because I'm a comedian, I want to be the centre of attention.
There's an element of Jose Mourinho doing the everyone's against us kind of thing, and then he would say stuff and do stuff that would make all the focus be on him and not on the players, and that would free them up from the attention of the press and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that's what Arteta's doing. He could just be a very passionate Spaniard. but there could be a case of...
You had to throw Spaniard in there.
Well, yes, it's
It always comes down to fucking race.
I'm sorry, the Spanish are not a race.
There are peoples.
Like, he's a very passionate Spaniard. If he was Portuguese, I'd say he was a very passionate Portuguese, which just confused the fuck at me because Portuguese doesn't sound like you're done saying that person.
He's Portuguese.
He's a Portuguese man, like, because both the description and the noun, and it just feels wrong, you know. He's Portuguese and he's a Portuguese.
He's a Portuguese.
Sort that out, Portugal. I know it's our fault because it's our language, but sort it out. Quick word on Newcastle Fulham, and then we'll wrap it up. Fulham's kit's minging.
Oh, I liked it.
There's something wrong with you.
I liked it. I like a pink kit.
No, I don't mind pink kits, but that was an assault in the eyes.
That was a bright pink kit. I liked it. A fucking Jimenez, we talked about it earlier. Like
Lascelles was lucky to get away with nothing.
Oh, he elbowed the shit at him. It was class.
That is such a win for Lascelles because he's elbowed him. That's mental and got him sent off.
And he didn't even smash Lascelles. He smashed Longstaff. He just appeared innocent party. Longstaff is just on the corner taking a shite, and he's like fucking running like a Terminator.
To be fair, he's looked at Lascelles and gone, probably not actually. Who could have taken this little piss him off?
Ginger fuck, I'll do him.
Hey, that's our word, right?
Lewis Smiley became the youngest ever goal scorer for Newcastle, which was a nice thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Rico Lewis thing, although obviously he's like 2 years younger as well. And I think it's obviously the connection between Newcastle and their academy players is probably a lot stronger. So yeah, that was really nice for him. It was a good win for Newcastle. I think they never really got out of second or third gear, but I see because Fulham went a man down, that just meant they could like, right, okay, we can win this without risking more injuries.
I think it was a bigger game than you would imagine because Fulham have just come off the back of two 5-0 wins.
Aye, and you were on a run of 3 defeats.
Newcastle like got a threadbare squad. Joe Linton get fucking injured,
as did Shar.
Aye, so
which
like mere injuries.
A nightmare.
So like to get through that game with 3 points.
Aye, I know he put like him pulling up without anybody touching him is a worry.
Aye. Hamstring that, so that's at least 6
Well,
weeks.
apparently it was actually glute, not his hamstring, so it might be less time than that, thankfully. But
fingers crossed.
Yeah, we've already had a wee discussion about the end of the Villa game, but yeah, it was
amazing.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it because we really don't have time to dive into it.
It was amazing. Like,
Martinez is.
So there was like a pass back for Bailey for the halfway line, which is the kind of shit that you see in FIFA.
Yeah.
Where he like tried to pass it back to the keeper to waste time. It nearly goes in for an OG. Martinez has to clear it out for a corner.
Yeah.
Mopai runs up, body checks him. No, really though, because Mopai's like this height.
Aye, it shouldn't take him to the ground.
Then Martinez dives, and then after that, for like a free kick, and Mopai standing in front of Martinez. Martinez just touches him in the back. He hits the deck. Martinez goes mental and just deadlifts the cunt. It's amazing.
Then there's
then fucking, was it
scrummage.
Konza or Kamara that gets sent off?
Kamara gets sent off because he basically put his fingers in someone's mouth. And then
it was funny because John McGinn came out and he was part of it, but he went mental at Kamara because it was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you fish hooking cunts? Yeah, big fucking weirdo.
And Emery got a yellow card for trying to pull Martinez away from the situation.
That's right, yeah.
You punish your club for not controlling their players, and then you punish a manager for trying to control his players. Well done. What a fantastic rule. Have you got a wee trivia before we fuck off?
No, I've not got trivia.
He did tell me he was going to get a wee trivia, but he's forgotten.
I forgot to do
Create your own trivia.
Create your own trivia, man. Create your own.
On that note, we're going to go. I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas, a happy New Year, or whatever you want to do at this time of year. Go get drunk and have a good time. So it's goodbye from Patrick.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Stay fresh, cheese bags.